And good evening, Commanders, and welcome to the Elite Dangerous Astro Tour. It is Thursday, it's good to be back. My name is Drew Wager, and I'm your host for this evening's Space Shenanigans. Should be good, should be good. Lovely to see somebody in the chat already, so thank you very much for popping along. I see a few new names as well, so a couple of them I recognise from Twitter. So I saw Rowena in there earlier on, so thank you for popping along. Quick conversation on Twitter, that's always nice, so lovely to see you. And thank you very much for joining. We generally stream about 2 hours, and we try and have some fun. That's the main part of all this sort of streaming. So that is the objective, okay? And hats, definitely hats. Okay, so if you have a hat, you may wear a hat in honour of this stream. It's just something that we do. Anyway, lovely to see you all. Lovely to see you all. So we are engaged on the Elite Dangerous Astro Tour. So basically what it is we're playing the Elite Dangerous game. We've been flying around space looking at stuff and then going on to something else and looking at stuff. That's pretty much all astronomy is, actually. What you have to do with astronomy, of course, is slowly buy more and more expensive equipment. We've talked about this in the past, to look up into space and stare at stuff. That's basically what astronomy is, okay? You can dress it up in all sorts of clever astronomical scientific stuff, but essentially it's looking at stuff. So there we go. But anyway, lovely to see you all. And the key thing is, of course, that Elite Dangerous is one of the best games out there in terms of actually being able to go to real places in the night sky and visit them. Kind of, it's probably the closest most of us, I'm sure, will ever get to actually travelling out into space. So, we have a fictional spaceship, we have a virtual environment. Let's go and explore and see what's out there. That's kind of it. So just kind of mucking about around the galaxy. Exactly right, Kelvinator. Just literally passing the time away looking at space. So if that's good for you, that is what the Elite Dangerous Astro Tour is all about. We're getting close to the end, actually. Okay, we are getting close to the end. So we have a couple more weeks to go before we get to the end of the year. I mean, can you believe it's December? That's insane. I mean, it's going to be good to get 2020 behind us, isn't it? But even so, I think we've got to the end of the year already. So there we go. Quite amazing stuff. But so there we go. Now, where are we going? Now, this is important. So a little bit of astronomy, okay, to start with. A lightweight, so don't panic. But I'm going to fire up my trusty planetarium first before we get into the game. I'm not mentioning the year 2021 at all. Okay, so here we go. So this is, let me just switch across to that one. This is my trusty planetarium, okay? This is Stellarium, if you don't know it. An amazing piece of software which is entirely 100% free. If you haven't got it, go download it, okay? Stellarium.org. It's brilliant, okay? If you like astronomy at all, or you just want to see what's up in space, okay? Then it's a really, really good piece of software. And it basically simulates the night sky from wherever you are. Awesome stuff. This is simulating the night sky from my house. It's not simulating the night sky very accurately, I have to say, because right now it's absolutely chucking it down outside. And it has been all day. So actually outside is completely opaque and you can't see any stars at all. So planetarium software is not realistic in the sense it simulates weather, but this is a good thing because its purpose is to allow you to see the stars, which in my country, in the UK, at this time of year, very unlikely, right? But anyway, so this is, if it were clear, which it hardly ever is, this is what we would see. As you can see, we are looking south and figure out that you know what a compass point is. So there we go. We are looking south, and over here to our right hand side is the constellation of Orion. Now, we were touring around here a few weeks ago. We went around the Orion Nebula. And then we went out to VY Canis Majoris, which is one of the biggest stars in the sky. And we've been to Aldebaran, and we've been to all sorts of places around here. Now, before I get quickly onto that bit, just so you know, right now in the south, if you're in the northern hemisphere, in fact, if you're anywhere not too far from the equator and you look up, in the northern hemisphere, look south. If you're in the southern hemisphere, look north. At about this time of night, you'll see a great big bright orange object. That is the planet Mars. Okay, so if you haven't actually seen the planet Mars for yourself, next time it's clear, fingers crossed if you're lucky, look south about this time in the evening, boom, Mars. Okay, nice and easy. If I just rewind time, because I can do that because I am also a Time Lord, I have control of these buttons. Okay, that makes me a Time Lord. If I rewind time back to this morning, there we go. Look at that. That's this afternoon. Let's keep going. I'm not very good at my time travel control, as you can see. So that is this morning, just before the sun comes up. So if you happen to be up early in the morning like me and taking the dog for a walk or something like that, there is also Venus. So this is quite a good time of year, right? Okay, you can see 2 planets in the sky really, really easy. You can't miss Venus in the morning sky. It's really, really bright. So if you can see anything in the kind of pre-dawn light, then it's Venus. Okay, so there you go. Some astronomy. You've already learned some stuff. How cool is that? He says not patronising his audience at all. Right, I'm going to press this button here, which I think takes me back to now. Which is, there we go. I can I can restore real time, which is what's happening now. There we go. Right, now we are somewhere out in the black out here. Not quite sure exactly where we are. Actually, we can look up. There's the Monkey Head Nebula. Is it in here? Because that's where that's where I am. I don't know about you guys, but that's where I am. It's the Monkey Head. There we go. The Monkey Head Nebula. So that's where we are at the moment in Elite Dangerous, which is quite cool. So we can actually, if the skies were clear, we could actually see where we were in Elite Dangerous. And as we can see, this is called NGC, which stands for New General Catalogue. Don't worry too much about that. How far away is it? Does it say? It doesn't. So, but anyway, that's where we are in that region of space. Okay, and this is what it looks like from Earth. That's what the Monkey Head Nebula looks like from Earth, and that's where we currently are. Right, a long way off. Yes. It's quite a lot further. I mean, obviously it looks all flat when you're out on the ground, but obviously we've learnt on this tour that none of this is flat. All the sorts of things that we can see in the night sky are all sorts of different distances from us, which isn't immediately obvious. But we were down here the other week. We're now up there. But where we're going tonight is back up in this direction. So we're heading up here. And we're going to be going to, let's get the search again, the Crab Nebula. Oop, I pressed the wrong button and turn on the constellation up. Don't want that. Crab Nebula, there we go. That's where we're going tonight. Let me just turn off those lines as well. So a little bit above the constellation of Orion, and we are going here. And I'll explain what's cool about the Crab Nebula when we get there, okay? So that's what we're doing tonight. We are going from the Monkey Head Nebula, which is where we are, to the Crab Nebula, and hopefully we'll see how cool it looks in Elite Dangerous. So fingers crossed, that's what we're actually doing. So again, that's Stellarium. If you haven't got it, go get it. It's free. I mean, you know, it doesn't take much CPU horsepower to run. It's much lighter than any kind of 3D game like Elite Dangerous. So if your rig can run Elite Dangerous, you can run this. Okay, it's really, really good. Go get it. It's worth it. So right, let's get rid of that and get back into the game. So I am here with a black screen. No, there we go. It's working. And I'm on one of the fleet carriers that has very kindly arrived here. So I don't know who's the owner of the Storm's Nest. That's where I currently am sitting. So if you're anywhere near the Storm's Nest, come and pay a visit. Okay. I was literally in the back there for a moment. Yes, I was out in the void, complete darkness. So so we are. Well, I'm on the Storm's Nest, which is in orbit around the Monkey Head Sector DLY system. Let's get that specifically accurate. So that's kind of where we're kicking off. So there we are, Monkey Head Sector DL-Y D54, which is just beyond the Monkey Head Nebula. So if we just zoom out for a moment on the map, we can see it's Storm Raider, Ice Storm Raider, my nest. There you go. Thank you very much indeed. So I hope you don't mind me perching my ship on your fleet carrier. It's a jolly nice fleet carrier, I have to say. That's where we are. Okay, so there are the core worlds, as I like to call them. That's the old name for them. Everybody in Elite Dangerous calls it the bubble nowadays, but I'm a veteran, okay? So I call them the core worlds, because that's what they used to be called before you new people came in and started playing the game. So in the olden days, back in the 80s and the 90s, this was called the core world. So I still call it the core worlds, but it's the bubble, all right? That's where we started out. Now we're way out here at the moment, and we've got to go a little bit further this evening. Yeah, well, these kids kept turning up and renaming this. It's not allowed. Very, very bad. this is the Monkeyhead Nebula. We are going to be heading down to the Crab Pulsar. So for those of you with fleet carriers, our destination this evening is the Crab Pulsar system. So if you just literally type in Crab Pulsar, oh crab. I was going to do that joke by myself, but now you've ruined it. Never mind. Eh? I'm going to. That's. You've totally thrown me now. Thank you, Sophia. That was awesome. We're going to the. It's actually called the Crab Pulsar. That's not just a bookmark name. That's the actual real name of the thing. In Elite Dangerous. So that's where we are going. Okay, so that's where the fleet carriers need to end up for this evening when we do our. What we basically do at the end of the stream, we do a huge big hyperspace jump to some slightly dodgy MIDI music composed by moi. Or actually not composed is not the right word, because basically I'm pinching epic themes from the world, converting them into MIDI, and then playing them through my PC to give us something epic to do our hyperspace jumps to. So if the fleet carriers who are still with us, because I know a few of them had to retire because the distances are getting too far and personal lives and things are getting in the way, and we are quite a long way out now. For the fleet carriers to still remain, that's the destination for the end of this evening. All right. So that's where we're going to basically. But it is literally called Crab Pulsar. So that's where you want to see. It's about, as you can see, it's about 1,000 light years away at the moment. For the rest of us, we will haul our asses. I still can't say that because I'm not American. Over to the Crab Nebula. And that's where we are. Now we want to get some good sort of screenies of this. I'm told it's actually quite pretty. It's one of the better ones in Elite. So fingers crossed, we will see that. And we'll talk a bit about the Crab Nebula because it's actually quite a cool astronomical thing in itself. Hold your asset. You see, now we've had this thing on the stream, Rowan, because I'm British, and it's a well-known thing. And I don't know where anybody comes from, obviously. It doesn't matter for this stream. We're very international, but British people can't say ass. All right. We can only say arse, which isn't really the same thing. So we've been there before, okay? The Amadar is already there. Thank you very much, Anna Claire. That's awesome. So we can only say arse, and you can't really kick arse. It's just, it doesn't work, okay? So British people, we're going to have to come up with something else. When we want to kick some ass, which we can't do, we need to come up with something else. We need to... And you can't get your arse in gear. I mean, that sounds wrong, okay? So we have a problem, okay? You say donkey instead of ass, which you can't get your donkey in gear, okay? You can't kick your donkey because you get into trouble, right? But I suppose you can kick butt. Can you kick butt? But do we? I don't know. Do we use butt in the UK? I don't think we really do, actually. So yeah, we've got some getting your donkey in gear. Anyway, right, you're distracting me, which is also a tradition of this stream, which I must resist. Okay. I must resist. As you can say, we take ourselves extremely seriously on this stream, and it's extremely professional and very level-headed at all times. Right, so who is here? Let me get my ship off the pad. Now, something weird, and I don't know if Elite Dangerous veterans can tell me why this happened. I think I know, but I launched on Wednesday to get... No, was it Sunday? There must have been... some point this week, anyway, it doesn't matter. I launched earlier this week and all of my key bindings were gone for no obvious reason. So I don't think Elite updated itself, but all my key bindings had vanished. Now I think it might have been caused by me starting the game without my hotess plugged into the USB. Does that is that a thing, or does it just occasionally randomly delete all your key bindings? Because it's really, really annoying. It took me about 40 minutes to get everything working again. I still think I've got some bugs because everything's backwards or forwards. I don't seem to understand the invert normal thing on my hotess at all. Like, whatever I do, I always get the wrong one. So just one of those things. So I don't understand that. Probably switch to a different key. Yeah, the mouse had been switched on. It's like I never ever have flown with a mouse because I don't know how to do it. So keep a backup file of keybinds. That's a really good idea that I should have done, and I will do now actually. So I just kind of like, where did that happen? Right, so back it up. I will look up how to do that. It probably dabbled back to a time before. So it was my fault, is what you're saying. Yeah. Update the keybind. Switching accounts maybe, because I've got this new Epic account, which is and thank you to the guys on my Discord who tried to explain how to do it. I haven't got that to work yet. I tried it and got myself into a very confused state, and it was a bit weird. So I will try that again, but I haven't yet managed to get my Epic version of Elite, which sounds a bit strange, isn't my Epic version of Elite, working with what I suppose is my ordinary version of Elite. So we're currently on my ordinary version of Elite, which is my original one, and my Epic one has a different launcher at the moment, which does clever stuff and then goes away and eventually comes back with it. Yes, you're logged in. So anyway, yeah, I need to concentrate on that. But anyway, it's working now. So let me get let me get my donkey in gear and launch. There we go. Fingers crossed. Right, who is here with me? So thank you very much to the Storm's Nest. So that's a lovely, a very good fleet carrier, which was jolly nice to have. Let's just have a look who else is here, because we should celebrate the fact that there are some other fleet carriers around. We have 5. We have the JMC mining ship, the Red Dwarf, which we used the other week because it was, of course, cold outside and there was no kind of atmosphere. We have the Absolution, which is a stalwart of the tour, has been around with us for many months now. Always nice to see that. We have if I can get the user interface to work, the Valiant. We've seen the Valiant before, that's good. We have of course, I Still Love You, which always makes me chuckle. And we have the Storm's Nest, which of course where I am. So thank you very much again for all the fleet carrier owners who are bringing their fleet carriers around. Very much appreciated by me, because it's good to have some support out here in the void for these long journeys. Right, who else is here? There's quite a few people in my instance, which is good. It's always nice to see. I've got a few people in my wing as well. And what looks to be, is that an anaconda or a python in front of me? I'm not very good at recognising some of the ships. There we go. It's an anaconda. Of course I knew that. Commander Johnson Sky, good to see you. And there's a few other people around here as well. So let me get going. So we are quite close to the star. Now, the nebula itself, the Monkey Head Nebula, is kind of over here in the background. I'm just going to fly gently towards that for a bit. So if people are around and want to kind of just get a screeny for a moment, that's always fun, isn't it? Let's do that. So form up on my crate. There we go. I will just turn it the other. Actually, yeah, let's do it that way. So if I zoom, if you can see me in the instance, fly up not too far away from me, and then we'll just see, because we're going to be making some hyperspace jumps in a bit. It is definitely an anaconda. For those of you who are joining us on PS4 and Xbox, or even PS5, if you managed to get one, then obviously welcome. You can't join us in the instance, I'm afraid, because it's not yet cross-play Elite Dangerous, but you never know. One day we might be able to do this. That would be very, very cool, because then we could all fly together. So so there we go. So again, you'll get some lovely visuals of flying towards the Monkey Head Nebula with a whole bunch of ships. So that's great. But we need to get to the Crab Nebula. So that's our destination. So here we are. On the system map. It's literally Crab Nebula is the easiest way to find it. Boom, it just locks us in place. A few people are always en route by the look of it already, so there it is. We are heading for the system that's actually named as Crab Pulsar, so that's the destination. So let's get our donkeys. Now this is another thing that I've noticed here. Sometimes this busts. It's done it again here. Route plot unavailable, maximum distance exceeded, which is clearly wrong. Commander Sea Dweller, good to hear from you. Wombles are all in the Wimbledon Common Lounge Bar, watching the stream on the Lounge Bar monitor. Sorry, can't be with it. It's you are sorely missed, my friend. It's always good to have the Wimbledon Common fleet carrier along. I've got economical routes selected. Okay, so is that fastest routes? So if I select it again, that's why. Ta-da, thank you very much. I drew you are economical. Thank you very much. I'm sure I didn't select that either. Oh, I probably did, thinking about it, to get rid of that annoying tendency of the thing to plot lines all over the map. Okay, so that's it. So your mileage is going to vary on this. For my ship, it's 19 jumps, which doesn't sound like it's too bad. So I'm going to get underway. So follow me to the Crab Nebula. We'll probably stop just short of the nebula to get a good picture. So follow me in that direction, and we will head there. So there go the fleet carriers. They're already departing. And we will get underway as well. Now I'm flying a Crate Phantom, which is my sort of go-to exploration ship. I used to fly an Asp Explorer for this sort of job, but to be frank, in every way, the Crate Phantom is better. So yeah, it's a little bit of a way. Now we are getting some longer jump ranges in the stream. So if you've got loads and loads and loads of jumps, you're probably best off hitching a ride on one of the fleet carriers that's heading out that way. So, or at least using them to take a few hundred light years off your journey. So the that's definitely a good thing to do. If you need to do that to kind of keep up with us, then do that, because the fleet carriers are heading out there. If the fleet carrier owners in the chat can advise, whether they're open for people landing and all that sort of good stuff, then that would be awesome. I'm desperately trying to get myself to elite. Okay, so I'm doing this kind of, I suppose, properly, in the sense that look, here I am, one of the original authors of the game who's been playing elite since when it came out, 2014, and I am still not elite in anything. Despite having been on Distant Worlds 1 and Distant Worlds 2 and having gone to Beagle Point, because I get very bored doing the FSS stuff and I don't scan everything. I haven't yet got enough exploration data but I'm not far away. Okay, I'm not far, so we need to get me to elite. Okay, that's another objective before too long on this account, before I stop using it and do something else. So as you can see, my combat rank is not very high. My trade, I don't know where broker is on the trade rank. Is that I don't know how far up that is, but I'm nearly elite. Okay, I've got to get elite in something. Then I feel I've joined the throng. I feel very embarrassed that I'm not elite at all in Elite Dangerous, having been playing it for 6 years and having written 2 books and done all the other stuff that I've done. That's frankly quite embarrassing. So I'm elite in writing. Oh, thank you very much. That's really kind. I need to scan. Yes, I do need to scan. That's what I need to do. So let me do the scan. I've got my kind of honk scanner, which, there we go. I've done some scanning. There we go. I've done some science. I feel better now. We'll get you to elite. Awesome. So I think I was scanning all the way across to the Monkey Head Nebula, and there is obviously the trip out here. Now what I'm going to do, if it's all right with you guys, is there's a base out here in the Monkey Head Nebula. I'm told, I haven't looked it up, because I've just been lazy, but I think I'll take a little detour and dock there and see if I can offload my cartographics data to see if it helps me out, because I'm not very far away, right? I don't know how much exploration data I need, but I'm kind of hoping that before the end of this trip, I will be getting close. Because we've got some serious jumping to do in the next couple of weeks, because we've got to go back past the bubble to some of the other 2 nebulas that are on the list before we make our kind of Christmas special, which is way out, I'm afraid, way out in the dark. So it's going to be a bit of a trip. I'm hoping I can make it too. There's a CG this week for exploration day. I should check that out. So maybe I'll detour past the bubble on my way home. That might be quite useful, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so I'm travelling through space. So anyway, going back to the Crate Phantom, I used to have an Asp Explorer, and it was a great ship actually. So I like the Asp Explorer. It's one of the ships I had for the longest time in Elite, other than the Cobra Mark III, which I've still got up on wheeled jacks or axle stands, I suppose it would be, in one of our star systems, because I'm as one of the Kickstarter backers of Elite Dangerous back in 2012. I did get a slightly privileged start position in the game. I know, shock, horror, pay to win and all that. When I started Elite Dangerous, I start wherever most people started with a Sidewinder of 1,000 credits. I started with an exploration focused Cobra Mark III and 1,000 credits. Okay, so we got this not much, but a slightly improved starting position because we'd given Frontier some money, which is outrageous, isn't it? Yeah, that's absolutely not fair. We didn't get much of advantages, but so my actual starter ship, if I did reset this account, which obviously I won't, but if I did reset this account, it would, I assume, it would go back to a Cobra Mark III and 1,000 credits. And I flew the ASP Explorer for a long time, and it was really, really good. The only thing that was slightly annoying about the ASP Explorer is you couldn't take everything you needed for exploration to make your ship entirely, self-sufficient, pretty much. You had to compromise a little bit on some things. You couldn't quite carry every piece of equipment. And when the Crate Phantom turned up, I can't remember if I scanned or not, when the Phantom turned up, it's that little bit bigger. It's that little bit bigger than the Crate. And if you do all the engineering stuff, and you get the Guardian frameshift booster, which is the only Guardian thing I've managed to get, then it turns it into a ship that can not only carry everything you need for exploration, including 2 SRVs, but it still can manage the 60 light year jump range, which does get you around reasonably quickly. So, and the thing I like most about the Crate Phantom, actually, to be honest, the thing I like most about the Crate Phantom is, and I'll show it to you in a minute once I get this star out of the way. Where's the target? That's quite a big star, isn't it? There we go. The thing I like most about it is that it kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon. If I had the chance, I would delete these two sort of wingy things at the bottom here, and I would put a rotating antenna on the top to really kind of make it Millennium Falcon, because it's at the front. I mean, if you look at it from the top, right, it's got that Millennium Falcon sort of shape, which I think is really nice. It just needs, all it needs is an offset cockpit and a rotating antenna. Now I would pay some arcs. I would actually probably buy some arcs and use them to put an antenna on my ship. It is very like Frontier. In Frontier, my Eagle ship that I start with does actually have a rotating antenna. I'd like to have a rotating antenna. But alas, I can't. So at least not at the moment. If I can replace the antenna with a disco ball, that would be good as well. So I'm sort of in a kind of Millennium Falcon-esque sort of ship. That's how it feels to me. It seems to be visually about the same size. I don't know quite what the dimensions of Millennium Falcon are, how they compare to the Crate Phantom, but it feels about the same size. It's big, but it's not too big. And I don't know how fast it could do the Kessel Run, of course, but it's all right. I'm going to scan that again because I've now forgotten whether I did do the scan. Boom, there we go. And hyperspace, yay! So that's good. So yeah, so Crate Phantom, I think for exploration, probably now the best ship in the game. It's not outrageously expensive, but and it doesn't cost too much to fix, and it's got a really good cockpit for the exploration, so you can see down. That to me, being able to sort of have a look down, is quite important. The ASP is actually slightly better, but the Crate is pretty good, and being able to see down when you're flying around unexplored areas, so that you don't crash, is quite useful. Not crashing is generally a good thing, I find, in all sorts of ways. It's actually Quite useful. So yeah, I think it's a nice ship. And actually, my other account has ended up with a Crate Mark II, and that's sort of as a kind of a general purpose ship, because I was flying an Imperial Clipper, but it was just outmatched in shields and combat effectiveness. And the Crate Mark II has better shields, and it has 3 big hard points, whereas the Clipper only has 2, and the Crate is, again, it's just better. What I want is an Imperial ship that's sort of slightly better than the Crate Mark II, I suppose, but there isn't one at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll get some more Imperial ships one day. Right, so we are on our way to the Crab Nebula. Now, the Crab Nebula is an interesting place, okay? To tell the story of the Crab Nebula is... You have to go back in time about 1,000 years, because in the dim and distant past, in about the year 1074 AD, so over coming up to 1,000 years, actually not quite 1,000 years right now, the Chinese astronomers in that year, because actually they were amongst not very many people on the planet in those days doing kind of proper astronomy. Now, this is long before the invention of the telescope, so they couldn't magnify anything. But what they were doing is they were measuring their the angles of stars. They were mapping the stars. They were recording the seasons. They were predicting eclipses. They were doing some pretty good advanced astronomy. Now, in Europe at the time, we were in the midst of the Dark Ages, and we were arguing about whether God exists and killing each other over things like that. So we weren't doing too well in Europe at that point in time in terms of science. We were in the UK actually, though, in those areas. We were fighting the French, and we lost. So the Saxons were being invaded by the Normans, not strictly speaking, not the French really, but and the Saxons, i.e. the native people of this country at the time, lost rather badly to the Norman invasion. We were burning witches, yes, so you can see how scientifically advanced we were in those days. And William the Conqueror had come over from Normandy and had won a battle against Harold the Saxon and defeated him in the Battle of Hastings in 1066. The Spanish Inquisition. Nobody ever expects the Spanish Inquisition. So that's what we were doing in Europe. Okay, so it's basically just a lot of people being killed and people fighting over the kingship and all that kind of good stuff. So Europe wasn't doing too well. The only astronomy in this part of the world that was going on actually was being done by the Arabs at this point in time. Now, the Arab contribution to astronomy is often overlooked in the Western world. But actually, the evidence of what they did for us is all around us. Many stars and things in the sky are named, and they still retain their Arab names today. So Aldebaran, Antares, Alberio are all Arab names for stars that we still refer to by those names in the night sky today. So a lot of actually really good astronomy was done by the Arabs in this period of time when Europe was sitting in the Dark Ages. Algol, that's a good another one, Kelvinator, yep. In fact, you can probably take a reasonable guess that any star that has AL at the start of its name was named by Arab astronomers. So that's what was going on. So Europe was in the Dark Ages burning witches. The Arabs were measuring stuff in space, and so were the Chinese. And the Chinese astronomers were even better in this instance because they wrote things down. Now this was very, very important because in AD 1074, I don't think there's a star called alcohol. There should be. And we're in the alcohol system. I'm sure you are, sir. There's alcohol in my system. That's different. You've got me wanting a drink. Stop it. Stop it. So the Chinese were very good at keeping records. They were doing proper astronomy, and they had instruments for sighting things and checking things and all that sort of stuff. And they knew their stars. Okay, now they didn't use the same constellations as we currently do in the West. They called them by different names, and they had different patterns. But the stars' positions themselves haven't changed that much in 1,000 years, so they're obviously completely recognisable. The alcohol system is with arm of the wobbly orbits. We did work out that which way is the same as a duck. That's a very good point. She turned me into a newt. But I did get better. So yes, remarkable achievements of Western civilization. I think that should be a thesis. Somebody should do that. Remarkable achievements of Western civilization with regards to science in AD 1000. We worked out which way is the same as a duck. So where was I? Yes, the Chinese. Taking me a long time to tell this story. So the Chinese had mapped all the stars. Okay, they had really good diagrams. They had really good maps of the stars as they could see them. And they'd compiled this. They knew what stars went where. They knew the planets moved against the background of the stars. They knew that the planets moved in the ecliptic plane because of their orbits, and they knew something strange was going on with the planets because every so often they would observe the retrograde motion of the planets, which later was worked out to be the fact that we're all in orbits around the sun. I don't know if the Chinese had figured that out or not. I'll need to look that one up, actually. That's an interesting question, because obviously in the Western world, we were totally convinced that everything in the universe went around the Earth, and including the Sun, and partly because the Catholic Church told us so, and partly because the ancient Greeks also thought that. Retrograde motion due to alcohol. No, retrograde motion actually due to the planets moving. So I don't know, actually, the Chinese astronomers figured out that the sun was the centre of the solar system or not. That's a good question. But they were pretty clever guys. Okay, so and then one day or one night, actually, to be completely accurate, they noticed a new star in the sky. They noticed a new star in the sky where none had ever been before. And they recorded this star in the sky, and it stayed there for a month or so. And then disappeared. And their records tell us it was a very, very, very bright star. They said they could see it in the daytime, and it lasted for about a month, and then it was gone, and there was nothing there. And it wasn't until I think the 19th or 20th century when we had telescopes that were worth actually looking at things, probably late 19th century, I would imagine. That somebody discovered these records, looked at them and thought, well, that's odd. I wonder if there's anything there. And we looked at the patch of sky with the telescopes, and we saw there was something there. A patch of dusty, cloudy something that looked vaguely like the shape of a crab. Hence the Crab Nebula. Mantech Gaming, hello, good to see you. Thank you very much for popping in. And so it's called the Crab Nebula because if you look at it in a telescope from Earth, it looks a bit like a crab. Now, it doesn't. At least I don't think it does. I've seen the Crab Nebula through a telescope and it just looks like a fuzzy blob. That's just one of the things, and some of the astronomers looks like you. Maybe it looks like a crab if you're in the alcohol system. Yeah. It's called the Crab Nebula because now what they've eventually figured out was, of course, that the Crab Nebula is the remains of a star that exploded in it didn't explode in 1074. But the light from the explosion reached the Earth in 1074, and what we're seeing now is 1,000 years later, the exploded remains of the star. On the source setting, by the way, the reason it's relatively low is I don't have the best internet in the world because of where I live, and I have no options at the moment to improve it. So to make the stream reliable, I've had to dial down the bit rate and the resolution, I'm afraid. So one of these days, when the 20th century reaches my location, I'll be able to upgrade it, but I can't push it much more than it is, because everyone just gets frame lag, and people get very cross when they get lag nowadays. So there we go. So apologies for that, but hopefully it's at a resolution which is enough to enjoy. But it's entirely internet related, I'm afraid. I do live a little bit out in the sticks, and my internet arrives in hay bales and tractors. How many more jumps for me? Where am I? Let's see. I'm 7 jumps away, so I'm getting there. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much sure that's it there, isn't it, in the background? That must be the Crab Nebula. Now, the nebula is the exploded remains of a star. Now, what do we mean by exploded remains of a star? Okay. My hat's still in focus. The hat is still there. As long as you can see the hat, we're good. The Crab Nebula is the exploded remains of a star. It's a supernova remnant. Okay, so you may remember earlier in the tour we were talking about what happens to stars when they die, and stars of a certain size, let's say stars like the Sun, when they run out of fuel, they ultimately become white dwarfs. And they are represented in Elite Dangerous. We've encountered a couple of those. Ultra dense, extremely hot remnants of a star. Extremely dense, quite dangerous actually. You wouldn't want to go close to one. And they slowly cool down over really, really, really long periods of time and become black dwarfs. But it takes an awful long time for them to cool down. And a white dwarf is a sort of remnant of a sun-like star. Now, at a certain size, stars don't become white dwarfs. Okay, they're too big, and when they come to the end of their lives, they go out with a bang, literally. So, in a star, hydrogen is being turned into helium by nuclear fusion because of the pressure and the temperature, and that's basically where the stars get their power source from. Now, as they run out of hydrogen, they undergo a series of collapses which ups pressure in their cores, and that starts fusing the next piece of material along the chain. So when you run out of hydrogen, most of the star is made of helium, and then that collapses on itself, the pressure goes up, the temperature goes up, and then you start fusing hydrogen into, I think, lithium. Okay, and then it goes on up the periodic table for quite a long way. I can't remember exactly what the order is, but that's basically what happens. Each time it contracts like that, it puffs off a big layer of its atmosphere into space. So the nebula starts to form almost straight away. The whole outside part of the star is beginning to drift away into space, and each pulsation pushes more and more stuff out, and that nuclear process keeps going basically all the way up the periodic table until you hit iron. Now, the problem with trying to fuse iron is that basically it takes more energy to fuse than it gives out. So unlike all the other reactions up until this point which generate energy, the fusion reaction of iron under pressure absorbs energy. And in that moment, the heat that is keeping, and the fusion reaction that is keeping the star effectively inflated, stops, and it stops within a matter of seconds, or possibly even less. Basically, in a moment, the entire pressure that keeps the star inflated at that point, keeps it a star, disappears, and the star literally implodes. The entire star. So this is a big thing. Okay, it could be the size of the orbit of Venus or Mars or even Earth. It's a big thing, and it literally implodes. In a matter of a few seconds, and that is, of course, what happens is it goes in, compresses everything that's in the core, which then explodes rather dramatically afterwards. And that explosion releases as much energy in just a few minutes as the star probably gave out in the last few million years of its life. So it's an absolutely phenomenal bang. Okay, there's nothing that you could compare it to short of the Big Bang itself, which is where the entire universe was created, which is obviously quite significant. But the supernova is a dramatic explosion. and the light and the energy coming out of that supernova explosion burns incredibly brightly for about a month and then fades away. And you're left with two things. You're left with this amazing kind of exploding, expanding nebula, which is several light years across, because it's exploding into space at a really fast speed. And you know, the Crab Nebula is now several light years across because it's had 1,000 years to expand from the point of the explosion. And what we're seeing then is that explosion remnant. And what's left in the middle of that explosion is a strange object, okay, a very strange object indeed, called a pulsar or a neutron star. And that is the internal remains of the star, but compressed down to an extraordinary degree. So in a neutron star, all the materials are made up of what's called neutronic matter. So this gets slightly technical at this point, but it's quite interesting. I think it's quite interesting because basically there is so much mass crunched into such a small area, and you know, if you get something that has greater density, it weighs more on the Earth. You can feel it's heavier. Iron is heavier than polystyrene. You know, even if you make it into the same shape, iron weighs a lot more than a block of polystyrene of the same volume. That's because of its density. Now, if you keep increasing density, there's a direct relation to the amount of gravity that said mass produces. And if you have a lot of mass of very, very high density, it effectively crushes itself down. And in a neutron star, the gravity is so intense that the matter in the star is crushed down and down and down and down until the atoms within the structure are basically forced against each other. But it doesn't stop at that point. What happens at that point is that the electron shells around the outside of the atom are actually also crushed down. So that what you end up with is the nuclei of the electrons and the protons effectively cancel out their kind of electric charge, and what you're left is with pure neutrons. Okay, you're left with pure neutrons. And so a neutron star is an object which is probably just kilometers across, which contains the mass of a sun, and its density is basically pure nucleus. So imagine the nucleus of an atom. Now, most of an atom is empty space. Okay, you've got the nucleus right at the center and the electrons going around the outside at a relatively large distance. Carl Sagan, of which my ship is named after, said that, you know, if you had a cathedral, you know, a big cathedral in a modern city, and you put a fly in the middle of that cathedral, that's about the scale of an atom. Okay, the fly would be the nucleus and the electrons would be flying around the outsides of the cathedral. That's about the right thing, and that's what normal matter, that's the density of normal matter. So I'm afraid all of us are made of mostly empty space most of the time. Real matter that we're useful, is mostly empty space. Okay, we don't consist of very much at all. But in a neutron star, that cathedral would be full of flies, which sounds horrible. That's not a good analogy. But the density that you have at the center of an atom is what the entire neutron star is made of. Okay, so you've got this incredible density. There is nothing in the universe that has that any higher density than that. We'll talk a little bit about black holes in a moment because that's the next natural stage. But basically, a neutron star is as dense as matter can actually be, and still be matter. Okay, it's still there. What you have is this incredible lump of dense matter. So all the mass of a huge star compacted into a spherical object that's about just a few kilometers across. Okay, it's just insanely dense. Now that means that you also have insane levels of gravity at the surface, you know, millions of Gs. Okay, so any matter that approaches a neutron star first gets spaghettified, which is basically drawn out into a great big long string, which sounds very painful, but then ultimately gets compacted onto the surface of the neutron star into an virtually infinitely flat layer of material. You could have no mountains or anything like that on the top of a neutron star. The surface would be utterly smooth, the smoothest thing that you can possibly imagine in the entire universe. So the gravity is so dense so high on a neutron star that light is bent around it. So if you could, which of course you can't, stand on the surface of a neutron star, you'd be able to see the other side of the neutron star in front of you because of the way that gravity bends light. Gravity would be that strong. Now the other weird thing about these things is that they have another weird and wonderful property. So a star obviously is a big thing and it spins relatively slowly when it's a big thing. Okay, so our sun takes I can't remember how long actually it takes. Is it 11 days or something our sun takes to rotate? I'd have to go and look it up. It's not as fast as the Earth. It's quite takes a long. It's a big thing, right? It takes a while to rotate. Okay. But if you've ever, right, I'm near the edge of the here now. I want to be a bit careful about this. So I'm just going to hold position out here for a moment. What I want to do actually before I go to the Crab Pulsar, I want to go somewhere else. Now, a sun is a big thing, okay, and it's rotating, let's say, once every 10 days or something like that. Depends on the speed of rotation of the sun. Now, if you've ever been on a carousel, one of those sort of swings that you have, in the parks as a kid, you'll know that if you throw your arms out or hang off the side of the carousel, you will go around the carousel at a certain speed. If you don't do anything else, but you pull yourself into the centre of the carousel, you'll speed up. It's the same process that ice skaters use when they have their arms out. They spin at one speed, and when they pull their arms in, they spin at a higher speed. That's called conservation of angular momentum. All right, it applies to stars as it applies to ice skaters. Okay, when a star that's millions and millions and millions and millions of miles across, spinning at once every 11 days, gets shrunk down to a neutron star at 1 or 2 kilometers wide, that angular momentum has to go somewhere, and basically what happens is it accelerates its rotation. And you go from a star that is 10 days rotating once to a neutron star at 1 or 2 kilometers across, which is rotating hundreds, sometimes up to hundreds of times a second. And I said that correctly, hundreds of times a second, and sometimes even faster. So what you've got to imagine is all of the mass of a star crushed into something the size of a city, which is ultra dense, neutronic level density, spinning at thousands and thousands of revolutions per second. And if you could do that, you're a better person than me. That's what a pulsar is. Okay, that's what it's actually composed of. It's a strange thing but it does exist. They are out there, and they were discovered actually. The Crab Pulsar is the first one that we visually saw, but you can also pick these things up by their radio bursts. And when they first picked these things up, they thought they were alien signals because there were these things out in space going boop 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 like that. Totally metronomic, completely regular. They thought, have we discovered some amazing intelligent extraterrestrial communication? And but it turned out, no, this is a natural thing that happens to some stars. They become neutron stars, they become pulsars, and as a result of that, we began to learn more about what supernovas are, and this is a supernova remnant. Now I'm just going to take a little detour around the back. So if we will go to, don't worry, we will go to the Crab Pulsar and I will jump in. I just want to go to, there's a base here and I want to drop off my exploration data so nothing bad happens to me. So I'm just going to take a slight detour now where is it? I'm going to zoom out here and switch on the filters. I think it must be this one. There we are. This is a populated system. There's 10,000 people who live there, so I'm just going to jump through there and dock and drop off my Oh, I could drop it. Okay, drop it on the community goal. You could do that. Yes, 4 times the pay. When does the community goal finish, though? So when does the community goal? Will I have time to get back? is my question. If not, actually, I think in the case I'll just jump straight to the pulsar. Next week. Okay, so I've got a week, so I might be all right. In that case, I shall crack on. Let's go back to where I was going. Crab pulsar. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. Let's see what this looks like. You were in the bubble. Yeah, I don't know how long it take. How long will it take me to get back to the bubble from here? It's not too bad in my crate phantom, I suppose. That's quite good. And this one, the fleet carriers, can take me home. That would be quite nice. I might ask nicely at the end of the stream. Anyway, so back to pulsar. So that's what the pulsar is. And if the pulsar happens to be spinning, which most of them are, they emit amazing, huge beams of radiation out into space. And what's nice about Elite Dangerous is it models this effect quite well. So here we go. Let's jump into the pulsar and see what we can see. It looks quite authentic from over here. In fact, I'm just going to cancel that jump. I want to see if I can get close to the outside edge of it. It's a nice little. Let's go to here, just because I want to sort of see what it looks like from the outside first. So I'm just going to jump there first. See how close we can get without actually being in it. Bolden Hero says game crashed. Oh no. What's the station of the name of the station? It's Crab Sector DL-YD9. That's right, Trapper-Q. Yeah, so that's where that is. So I just want to see what the Crab Nebula looks like from kind of point blank range, because that's sort of the money shot, really, isn't it? Let's have a look at that. So here we are. Ta-da! I get the nice music playing, which is good. Right, so when somebody's in my instance, hello, one of my wingmen. Where's the actual Crab Nebula? Let's fly away from the star a little bit. There, look over there, way over there now is the Barnard's Loop. We're quite a long way out of the galaxy, which is nice. Let's just fly around a bit. Where's the Crab Nebula? Right. Oh, there we go. There it is. There, look, right in front of me. So there we are. That looks really nice. There's the Crab Nebula from my ship, looking rather spectacular. Actually, that's actually quite pretty, even as Elite Dangerous things go. So that is the expanding cloud of debris from this supernova explosion 1,000 years ago. Now, one thing to note, just while we were on the Chinese astronomers who discovered this, of course. Oops, wrong button. And I've still got the scroll lock on. Sorry. Is that, let's just have a look at the galaxy map. This is where we are. And I think Elite Dangerous has put this in the right place. So if I just go back to Sol for a moment, which of course is where we are. Yeah, look how not crab-like it looks. Question, Drew, is the Mintavia says, is the tour next week starting the California Nebula? No, I've had to make a change of plan because we are not going to get around and get to the end of the tour. It's going to be tight anyway. I've decided that we are going, where did I decide? Let me just go and look it up. I need you to head to the Dumbbell Nebula for the beginning of next week's Astro Tour. Now, that's quite a long haul, okay? It's quite a long haul. So Dumbbell Nebula is where we need to be for next week's tour. So we can go across and see some of the other bits and pieces as well. So there's Sol. Now the Sol, as you can see, and this may or may not be accurate because the distance to the Crab Nebula is only an estimate. Okay, so it's in Elite Dangerous as an estimate because you've got to choose a number, right? The Dumbbell Nebula, no waiting around needed. But you can see here, now let's assume this is right, okay? that the Crab Nebula is about 7,000 light years away. Okay, so the light from the Crab Nebula has taken 7,000 years to get to Earth. Ish. Let's keep it 7,000 years. It's just quite nice and simple. Okay. Now it exploded from our perspective in the year 1000 AD, and the Chinese guys saw it. All right. But that was the light that they saw had been also travelling for 7,000 years. Now, what that actually means is that the star exploded 8,000 years ago. The light from the explosion took 7,000 years to get here, and the Chinese guys saw it 1,000 years ago. What that actually means from us today is we're looking at the exploded remnants of that star from Earth. We're seeing the Crab Nebula, but we're seeing that what it looked like 7,000 years ago as well. If we could actually go to the Crab Nebula now, we'd be effectively going 7,000 years on in its evolution. So it won't look the same now as it will when we actually get to see the light from now, which will take another 7,000 years to get here. If that makes sense. Now, Elite Dangerous doesn't model light speed in the sense that it changes what things look like depending on which position in the galaxy you're observing things from. That's the next step. That's Elite Dangerous 2, I think. Because that would be really, really, really difficult. Okay, and it probably wouldn't, and say it wouldn't look this way in 3306 either, because it would have expanded and faded a lot. Because we're in the 34th century now, and it is much. That's how many years is that? That's we're in the 21st century. That's 1,300 years. Okay, so lots of things would have changed. So it basically wouldn't look the way it does. So it's in Elite Dangerous. It's been modelled to how it looks from Earth at the moment, which is kind of fair enough. You've got to start somewhere, okay? And so the different direction you have from an object determines what. It would be cool if Elite Dangerous could do that, but it can't. That's really complicated. Because of course, if Elite Dangerous could do that, what you could do is you could travel over here somewhere. 1,000 light years beyond Sol. Actually, you wouldn't need to go all that far. Probably over here somewhere, and you'd be able to see the star that's causing the Crab Nebula then explode. So you can kind of actually imagine some space tourism in the Elite Dangerous universe of saying, right, go to this particular spot in the galaxy, and you can watch the Crab Nebula explode all over again. And you can keep going further and further out each year by 1 light year and watch it as many times as you like. So that would be quite cool. You could do some historical astronomy. If you had a faster than light spaceship like we do in Elite Dangerous, you could actually do historical astronomy and watch things in the past explode, which I think would be quite cool. But anyway, that's just a side effect of space and light speed. Light speed isn't fast enough. Okay, light speed is really slow and annoying. But anyway, so there we go. That's an explanation of that. So what we're actually seeing on Earth isn't what's actually there now. Relativistic archaeology. There we go. That's a perfect description. Let's do some of that. So that's what it looks like on the PC. I've heard reports that sadly the nebula doesn't look as good on the Xbox, which is a bit of a shame. It's a bit pixelated, but that is what it looks like on the PC. So that's quite pretty, really, isn't it? And the nebulas generally do look pretty good. So the restaurant at the beginning of the universe, yeah, missed that supernova. Back up a bit and watch it again. Yeah, so I missed it. Just move over there a few light seconds, and 30 light seconds, and we can replay it. But if you had a faster than light spaceship, you could do retrospective astronomy, which would be very, very cool. So there we go. Anyway, so that's what the Crab Nebula looks like in Elite Dangerous from this distance, which is jolly nice. So let's go and visit the pulsar. Let's go and visit the pulsar at the heart of the Crab Nebula. That's why we're here. So let's set the course for the centre. And how far away from the centre? Now we are kind of literally on the outside edge here, and it's saying no route available. Well, there we go. So actually, it's 5 light years. So that's how big this nebula is. Okay, this is the exploded remains of a single star. Okay, so that shows you how big this star was. It's the exploded remains of a single star, and it is pretty much, as you can see there, 5 light years in radius, which means it's 10 light years in diameter. That means you could fit obviously our solar system and quite a lot of our nearby stars inside this nebula. That's how big it is, and that's the result of one star exploding. So it was a big bang, all right? And it's still expanding even today. Star Begotten says hello, thank you very much. So here we go. So set course for the heart of the nebula. That does sound quite epic, doesn't it? Exploded remains of a single star. So what happens when Madonna goes full Karen? She would definitely be a material girl. That's very true. Right. So there we are. So there is actually the Crab Pulsar itself in the heart of the nebula. 4.99 light years. Make it so. Here we go. I'm quite looking forward to this. I haven't been here before, so this is very good. So I'm told the hyperspace jump is also quite good here. So let's see. Boom. So look, there's the pulsar right in front of us. And I'm going to shut down my frame shift drive as we get close. Looks very cool, actually. Interesting hyperspace effect there. Boom, and there we go. There is the neutron star, and there we are. I've discovered the Crab Pulsar. So that looks amazing. Look at that. So there we go. My ship is. Why is it not responding? There we go. Oh, I'm in the wrong view. It's all right. That one. So there we go. That is the Crab Nebula. And the view from the Amadari is great right now as well. Okay, so I might head over there now. Just a few little things about this, because that is that obviously is the pulsar. It is a tiny object. Okay, it's literally probably less than a kilometre across, but with the entire mass of a star crammed into it, and that beam there that's coming off. Now that looks rather gentle. Now this is where Elite Dangerous doesn't quite get this wrong. It kind of doesn't quite get it right. Sorry, it's way too slow. Okay, it's way too slow. The Crab Nebula is spinning quicker than that, and would be shooting out a much faster beam of light. But the fact that it's got this stream of energy, blasting out of both its poles is correct. That's what a neutron star stroke pulsar would be doing. Whether or not it would be visible like this is difficult to say, but it would certainly be chucking out a lot of energy in gamma radiation, ultraviolet and stuff, and it's modelled here as a kind of blue colour because that's sort of close to the ultraviolet end of the spectrum, which is pretty good. Now you can see the distance there, 0.46 light seconds. So we are here about half the distance from the Earth to the Moon, and we can't resolve it as a point. It's just a point. Okay, it's too small. We would have to get ridiculously close to it to be able to resolve to it, and it would obliterate us long before we get there. So what you got to know about a pulsar is they're incredibly dense. Okay, we've already established that. So that means the gravity near them is excessively large. Okay, so you get anywhere close to them, you'll be crushed and ripped to shreds. So that's one way to die near a neutron star. The other one is that they're giving off intense electromagnetic radiation. So they're bombarding you with X-rays, gamma rays, and all sorts of nasty stuff, which would probably kill you pretty quickly as well. Okay. Now, obviously, we've got magic shields on our Elite Dangerous ships, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you were in any kind of normal vessel, something 21st century, you would die very, very fast. Okay. So that's a bad thing. The other thing that you would also die from is that the electromagnetic fields around a neutron star also would obliterate you. Now, if you put an electric current into a little armature or something, you get rotational energy. That's how electric motors work. Okay, so you put a current across it, the armatures spin through electromagnetism pushing against a static magnet. That's how electric motors work. And if you do the reverse, if you turn an electric motor by hand and have it plugged into something, you'll get a current flowing in the wire. So that's electromagnetic induction. Now, if you have a massive ball of incredibly potent energy spinning around really quickly, like this, it also generates an extremely strong electromagnetic field. Now, the electromagnetic field near a pulsar is so strong that it would be able to rip your atoms apart. Okay? So the electromagnetic field of this pulsar is so strong that there is no material that wouldn't be ripped apart by electromagnetic forces. Literally, your electrons would be ripped from your atoms as you got close to the object. So not only would you be crushed and radiated, you would be ripped apart electromagnetically. So they're pretty dangerous things, okay? So you don't go near one in real life. Even in Elite Dangerous, they're one of the more dangerous objects that are out there, because if we go into that stream, and I'm not suggesting we do because I know what happens, you can bust your ship, okay? Your frame shift drive will come up with a warning saying it's operating beyond safety limits. If you're lucky, you'll get out alive. But if you get it wrong, you will die because you can't get your frame shift drive to engage properly. Now, there is a technique where you can also... neutrons are nice, it's the white dwarfs that are the evil ones. Okay, I knew it was one way around to the other. So in that case, maybe neutrons... But neutrons should be worse than white dwarfs, to be honest. But you can, that's right, you can supercharge your FSD, which always makes me laugh because a supercharger is nothing... It's got nothing to do with it. Seems like a very odd choice of words to me. But so it looks like somebody over there was just trying to do that. Don't know if you saw somebody in frame shift drive shoot off over there. There they go. Somebody is trying to do it, trying to supercharge their drive. Hopefully they got away with that. So white dwarfs have a much larger exclusion zone compared to the energy cone. So that's presumably how it works. Now I've not actually tried that. I'm a bit nervous of trying to supercharge my ship. But there we are. So anyway, I'm going to set course for the Amidare, since I've been told the view is nice. Let's see what that looks like. Where is the Amidare? 1,000 light seconds away. So there goes the pulsar over there. Look. And it shows how close we were because it's not a big object, okay? It's not a big object. It gets small very quickly. And the view from there. So actually, let's just stop. And we've just moved a few light seconds away. And I'm just going to turn around and look at it again. There we go. It's vanished. We're 48 light seconds away, and it's gone from visual range. So it's not a big object at all. It's very small indeed. Now I don't know. I can literally just see it. I'm just going to go back for a moment, and let's just have a look how close we can kind of get it. It's a really nice spot the Amidare is parked, so yes, I'll have a look at that in a minute. I just want to see, so 20 light seconds, I don't know what the exclusion zone is. Does anybody know how close I can get to the neutron star without getting into trouble? I remember Canis Majoris from last week, says Techron. Yes, so that was an enormous star, whereas this is the tiniest of tiniest things. So quite a few people at the park at the Amidare. So if you're in the system, head to the Amidare. We'll rendezvous there for a moment. There we are, 4 light seconds, so it's looking very ominous in front of me there. 0.2 light seconds, okay. I'd love to be, does it do gravitational lensing? I don't know if it does. I'm just going to angle up a little bit. Let's see if it does. I'll keep that over there so I can see what's going on. So there is there's the nebula there. Let's turn back towards it. I'm just going to cautiously approach I don't know if it's doing any gravitational lensing. There's a sort of glow around it. I'm down to 0.7, but it is very subtle. Okay, and you can see the sort of fumes or whatever that stuff is coming off it. Get close. It's only going to take 20% of your hull, and there's a fleet carrier. That's a good point. Okay, so we'll see. I'm going in. I'm doing this for science. I need to get a little way, so I'm down to 0.24. That is about where. So at that range there, 0.21 light seconds is 1/5 of the distance to the Earth. So that's about 50,000 miles out. Is the distance that I'm at the moment. So I'm just going to creep in slowly. 0.13. I'm at 1.6, 1.5. I think the ship should be shuddering and doing some stuff at this point. 0.12, 0.1. Down to. Oh, there. I'm actually showing miles there. And what's that object there? Oh, that's the absolution. Okay, beyond. So hang on. Did you manage to get that close to the neutron star? Where is the Amadare then? So I'm at 25.2 megameters. The absolution, and let's just have a look at the system map. Where are you guys all hanging out? Okay, so there's a pulsar planet there. That's the Amadare. So where are they? Where is the absolution and the carriers jumping super close to neutron stars? I was going to say, but I can't see them on the system map, so that's really quite weird. Have they not arrived yet? Is that basically not telling me? Landing on a neutron star, okay. And a clear path to the first planet, so I don't know how much closer I can get to this pulse. Let's see if we can get in. Mintopia, I don't know. I may need to drop out of Supercruise for it to update. That's a good point. So I'm just going to push in slowly then. Here we go. How close can I get to this neutron star? I don't think I can get in close enough to actually see it. There's a very strange noise happening now. This doesn't feel safe at all. Turn off shields. Why would I turn off my shields? why would I turn off the shields, Duplex? Save energy. Okay. So okay, you'll drop out as you hit the exclusion zone shields. Don't listen, says Seador. Okay, let's bounce off the edge of this thing. Here we go. I don't like this. I'm doing this for science. 9, 8, 7. 6, 5.5. We're gonna die. Does feel like it, doesn't it? I'm going in as slowly as I can. 4, 3.8. Maybe turn on silent running. I'm trying not to kill myself. I can see a dot there. Don't look at the light. 2 point. So that now looks quite insane. Let me just have a look left and right here. So look at that beam there, sort of pulsing out. I am approaching it kind of from right angles, kind of. It does look quite insane. So set your controls for the heart of the sun. So yeah, my ship's not too bad. Right, here we go. I'm feeling really nervous now. Ah, look, we're down to kilometers. I'm getting sucked in. Oh, that's me on minimum 30 kilometers a second. I'm literally 400. That's just insane. What's going to happen? There it is. I'm gonna drop. Boom! I'm 280 kilometers away. It's like a lighthouse in space. 280 kilometers. I don't know how. I just met you. Don't die, says Rowena. I genuinely feel nervous at this point. I don't want to go in there. I feel like running away. Watch my heat. So 53. It's is it rising? Wow. I think it's stable actually. My ship does run reasonably cool. Tempest stable, so that's good. So there we go. I don't think I'm going to tempt fate anymore. There we are. That's how close I am to the neutron star. That makes a pretty good shot, doesn't it? So there we go. It will if I move. There we go. So my looks like my ship's slowly entering the neutron star. Wow. Okay. Right. So I'm going to get out of here now because I'm scared. Don't get trapped in the cones right now. No, I'm going to be very careful and maneuver back out the way I came, using the. There we go. So that must be about right. I'm going to make sure that I'm actually travelling out as near as possible, directly away from the ship. There we are. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? So let's do that. See, why hasn't Elite Dangerous got a reverse camera? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to full throttle. There we go. The ship cannot take it anymore. Okay, so it's not quite right, but so I need to pitch up a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's a good point. The compass. Yep. Good point. Good point. That should be about right now, shouldn't it? Let's just make sure that is correct. So that was for science. I got as close as I dared to that neutron star. Of course, at real range, there's no way any ship, no matter what it's made of, would have survived that. So I think we've done. That's a pretty cool shot, actually. I'm pretty happy with that. All that radiation. Right, let's see if I can get out of here now. FSD will beat me up quick. Right, 53% heat. That's full power and systems and engines. Let's go. Right, there's the escape vector directly ahead. Right, here we go. Heat is building. 65, 67. I'm jumping. Yay. See, Asp runs cool. No, Asp. Phantom runs cool. We're good. A little bit of smoke from the console. That's all right. Cook the ship a little bit. It's all right. It's good. There we go. So anyway, that was cool. I enjoyed that, even though I was nervous. It's really weird, isn't it? 'Cause, you know, it's just a game, but you know, it does feel like we're out here in the black taking some risks. So there we go. I'm flying away. I feel like we've done something important there. So there we go. Cool screen effects as well. Yes, that's good. Yeah, like I say, adrenaline, hell of a drag. Right, so let's go to the Amadari. Just see what the view is like from there, because I've been told it's good. So let's go to the Amadari. Now I think it's only fair. Now I think all the ships on there, other than the Storm's Nest. Okay, so the Storm's Nest is where I started, but I believe that it is. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've done a hyperspace jump from the Storm's Rest yet. So if that's true, because I can't remember. I know we did the Amadari last week. And I'd kind of like to do. I don't know if the absolution can make it all the way to the end. I'd kind of like to do the absolution right at the end, because actually absolution is a really good name for the last jump. So if it's okay, if the owner of absolution will be able to get out to Evelyn's Light, which is a long way away, may not be possible, and if it isn't, just don't worry about it. But if you can, that would be great for 2 weeks' time. But I do know it's a long way. But I don't think the Storm's Nest has been. We've used it. We should all supercharge and do a long jump and die horribly. Yeah. I don't think I want to. I think I think our indemnity insurance might be up. So if the absolution can get to Evelyn's Light for 2 weeks' time, that's where we'll be ending up. Which at the end of the tour, should I be jumping on the dissolution? Yeah, good point. So, well, what we'll do, I just want to go to the Amadari because people have told me it's got a good view. So this looks like quite a cool planet. But we'll go to the Storm's Nest for the final jump of the evening, because that's tradition. Okay. Master Commander Jurisen, finally catching one of your streams. Yay! Good to see you. Good to see you. Ice Storm Red, not yet, but I've had to load Tritium again. Okay. So Storm Raider, if you can prep your ship for a jump out of this system as near to 10 o'clock game time as you can, that would be much appreciated. Wow, you're in a low orbit here, Amadari. That's quite cool, sort of lava planet. Yeah, so Evelyn's Light in 2 weeks' time, it is a long way out. So I completely understand if many of you can't make it. It is a long way out of the bubble. In fact, it's virtually almost all the way to Colonia. As a result, it is a long distance drive for many of you. I do appreciate that. But it's the Evelyn's Light, the story of Evelyn's Light is associated with Christmas, and that stream will be kind of my Christmas special, because after that I'll be kind of off until the new year. So it would be great if you can make it out there. I will be going, but I do appreciate it's a long way, and that may be too far for some of you. But that's the destination. So next week we need to get to the Dumbbell Nebula, which is a fair old trek in itself. And we will be visiting the Dumbbell Nebula, the Ring Nebula, and Cygnus X1. And after that, we'll be heading to Evelyn's Light. Okay, so that's an important thing. Now, I haven't been there yet, and we'll talk about the story of Evelyn's Light, for that stream. But it's a long old way, so do bear that in mind. But I'm hoping in one of those 2 weeks I will become elite. So that will be something to celebrate too. So am I going to make elite in exploration? Well, that will kind of be hopefully the plan. So we'll see what you can do. So Storm Raid, if you can do that, that would be really good. But that's where we are going. And Evelyn's Light is the final destination of the Astro Tour in 2 weeks' time. So yes, you do have a good view, I have to say. So in the midst of this nebula, it looks really, really nice. So right, so we are now at the 9:30 stage. Okay, now that means that we have to form up for our usual game of get in the instance. Some of the carriers will have universal gravity. Well, I've been sort of advised to get back to the bubble on that one, haven't I? So I might head back to the CG place and see if I can get 4 times the reward. Now that might give me elite. So I'd rather do it on stream if I can, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be possible, because if the CG ends on Wednesday and the stream's on Thursday, that's not going to work. But anyway, head for the Storm's Nest. Okay, Commander Tekkaron is on my wing, as is Russian Man. Thank you very much, guys. He says, cautiously pushing out past them. Head for the... Oh, look, it's behind the planet. It's always behind the planet, isn't it? It's got a lovely colour, this planet. Sort of reddy, weird sort of colour. Let me just get out of Mastlock range. So, yeah, alas, I don't have time to do it. 3 streams is all I can manage a week, I'm afraid. But it would be nice to do elite on the stream. So, we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, so head for Storm's Nest, everybody. Head for Storm's Nest. That's where we're going to rendezvous for tonight's jump. Okay. Now, for those of you who do know, which is probably most of you on the stream, we do a mass hyperspace jump at the end of every stream, just because I like mass hyperspace jumps and they're pretty. Okay. They're very, very, very pretty indeed, and it's kind of cool to have your ship jump along with a whole bunch of other ships at the same time in Elite Dangerous, mostly because it looks pretty, partly because it's kind of cool to fly in formation with lots of other commanders, which is what the game allows you to do, and thirdly, it tickles me that it probably upsets some poor technical guy at Frontier who's getting all those people in the instance and messing up my Amazon service again. So that makes me chuckle slightly. Says that that we might be putting a slight strain on some of the servers at the Frontier end. Probably not too bad. I'm sure they're either aware of it and they can cope, or they've put stuff in place, because Distant Worlds used to do it much, much bigger than we've done it. But the trick with this is, because Elite is not a server-based game, it's client server-based. It does mean that when we turn up a particular point in space, you're not guaranteed to be in the same instance of the game as everybody else, which is a bit annoying. So there are ways around that, and basically what we do is I get there and the people in my wing get there, and wing members are given preferential treatment when they arrive in an instance. So what we do is we get all those people in the instance first, and then we go and wing other people up and get them to jump out and jump back in, and hopefully slowly build up the number of people in the instance until we have as many as possible before before the evening's out. And then what we do is we do a mass hyperspace jump to some music, because you need some epic music to mass hyperspace jump to. And the tradition on the stream is that I go away each week and find a piece of epic music from space and science fiction or films or adventure or something, and I compose a sort of 80s 90s MIDI rendition of said piece of music to kind of get us around the copyright stuff. And then we play it out to the mass hyperspace jump. So that's how it works. It's good fun. It does work. It's worked quite well actually. So yeah, that's always been quite effective. So there we go. So Commander Novi, what is the name of the expedition? This is loosely called the Elite Dangerous Astro Tour. The idea being that we're flying around in deep space looking at things, astronomically speaking. Reven says, hello, 07 Drew Egger. I'm not sure if you want to answer this, but curious what Salome would think about the current CG handing in exploration data to the Sirius Corps so that they can terraform ammonia worlds. Well, that is a good question actually. So Sirius Corp is, I think, the second biggest corporation in Elite Dangerous. It's a massive corporation. The entire Sirius star system belongs to them, and they are makers of the frameshift drive. They are makers of all sorts of other energy production technology, but they also have I've got to be a bit careful here, haven't I? So I'm just going to slow down. So it looks like Storm's Nest is right on top of the pulsar, but which side is it on? So we've got to be a bit careful here. I can't see any differentiation between the pulsar and the Storm's Nest at the moment. So I'm just going to go in slowly. So exploration data Sirius. Now Sirius, the ammonia worlds are clearly related to the Thargoids. Okay, so Thargoids have an ammonia kind of based physiology. So it's clearly they're reconnoitering exploration data for Thargoid style planets. Why are they doing that? That's a very good question. Salome didn't have any interaction with yeah, the Amadora was a safer bet, you're quite right, but there we are. Let's see if we can get the Storm Nest, because if we can jump out from next to the pulsar, we're doing very, very cool. Use Supercruise Assist to get there safely. Have I got Supercruise Assist on this thing? Yes, I have. There we go. Okay. I don't like trusting the autopilot though. Okay, it's taking me in. I can now see a differentiation. Okay, so obviously guys, be careful, right, when you get close to this pulsar. I don't want anybody to die. Okay, so get to the Storm's Nest, but be careful, all right, be careful. Okay, so I'm kind of, it's above me, so I'm coming in okay. So there we go. Super Cruise Assist activate seems to be bad. Death would be bad, you're quite right. But Sirius has an underhanded reputation, okay? Very much has an underhanded reputation. They are not a trustworthy organisation, and they would probably be on Salome's kind of not trusted list, I would say. That's probably the best way of describing it. So there we go. So this is going to be quite a view. And glad to see Commander Alessa Verdius flying these days. Is she a floating NBC character used for Lorca says? She is. She isn't involved in too many things at the moment, but keep an eye on her, okay? Keep an eye on her, because if there's anything going down in relation to that, she will always be at the heart of it. Alessia Verdi is not Salome though, so she's not like a replacement. She has her own agendas too. Look at that. Wow, that's looking very good. Okay, so there's the Storm's Nest. So I normally park at the back of the ship, so we can watch it go when it jumps. So ice storm, Stormbreaker, is that right? Stormbreaker. If you can let me know when you're jumping, that would be really, really good. I'm just going to park my ship, if I can get it to stop moving. There we go, at the back of the storm's nest. So if Techeron, DSK, Nova Cygni and Russian Man, if you're in my instance, if you can drop the wing and then invite other people into your wing, and once you've freed up those slots, I will start doing the same. That would be really good. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to get into this instance tonight. So yeah, put your brave pills on, okay? See if you can get in there. Some people have got trapped in the Braben tunnels, which isn't great. So you may need to either quit the game or jump back out, depending on what's going on. There's some other people arriving here. I'm going to go through the people who are local and see if I can invite somebody in. So why is that not scrolling down? There we go. So I see Anna Claire is here. So let me invite you to the wing and see if that helps. Once you're here, of course, then you can. Oh, Kelvin had got kicked out. Oh no, Anna Claire. I've got Anna Claire there in the wing, so that's good. Let me invite somebody else. I've got Athelian Sorn, I know, so add you in. And Ice Storm Raider himself. Well, you're busy doing the storm. You're busy doing the wing beacon. Yes, sorry, I always forget to switch that on, don't I? There you go, that's on. And let's have a look here. So let's just start at the top. Oh no, not direct message, that's not what I meant. There we go. Invite to wing, and who's next up? Oh dear, there's lots of Braben tunnels going on. I wonder if that's because of the pulsar. I can see people in the instance, which is good. Drew checked to see if they're already in. Yes, good point. Okay. I thought if I was looking at this list here, if they're local to me, doesn't that mean they're in my instance? And these ones here, where I can see 0 light years, that implies they're not in my instance but nearby. Ice Storm Raider is just trying to load some tritium. It's all going well. Well, I've still got a space on my wing, so let me try that again. Ah, Mintopia has just managed to join the wing. Good. Okay, so let's get you guys into here. Yeah, so Sirius, I wouldn't trust Sirius Corporation as far as I could comfortably spit a rat. Okay. I've got my wing beacon on. If you're in the wing, then probably sensible to turn on the other ones as well. So Sophia needs a wing beacon as well. And you inverse says Sirius Corp, centuries of technology serving humankind. So I've currently got Anna Claire, Cephiridian and Mintopia in my wing, and I can see one of them in the instance behind me. So again, if you can see me, just use your wing invites to invite other people in, if that makes sense. Once you're in my instance, then drop. I've got 2 people here showing me that they're in the instance, and Mintopia just disappeared. Not sure what happened there. That's quite good. Right, Clarky18. See if I can find you on my list. Clarky18. There we go. Invite to wing. See if that works for you. Let's have a look who else is here. There are some ships beaming in, which is excellent. Let's just zoom out a moment. So an Imperial Courier there, another crate, which is always nice. So there are a few ships catching in. We've got a lovely view of the pulsar, which is very nice. And there's another ship there. They are coming in. This is good. The ships are arriving to the ragtag fleet, which is excellent. So once you're in, drop the wing, and I will keep inviting people in. And if everybody else can be doing the same thing, then it will hopefully build up over time. There we go. So have arrived, dropping wing. Brilliant. Cephiridion is here. That's good enough. That's good news. So if you could drop the wing, that would be awesome. Yeah, so form up in a nice, neat formation. Mr. Storm of the Storm's Nest, let me know how you're doing with the actual ability to jump. So for those of you in the instance, form up on my crate. There we go. I can see another one coming in front of me, which is awesome. Mintobi is here. Yay! Right, so we're getting there. That's good. It's a bit of a faff, this, but you know, we get there in the end. My Storm Raider, let me know how you're doing with your ship. Commander Sapphire, you're not here yet, so let's add you in. Kamakichi, let's see how well that works. Good stuff. What's my Discord? Let me go and get you the link while we're doing that. Let me just fire up Discord over here. And I will bung it in the chat. I do need to do some organisation. My Discord is a bit of a mess, I will admit. I need to do some organisation, but I will do that at some point. Right, so there we go. Here is my Discord link. There we go. Yeah, Storm's Nest. If you can aim to jump again, set it at 2144 if you can, so it jumps at about 2200. That would be perfect. And then we can all watch that ship go. That would be really, really cool. Let me know if that's okay. We'll go from there. Sapphire is now in the wing, which is good. So it looks like the number of ships is building up quite nicely now. So well done, everybody. We shall have a good jump here with the neutron star. So lots of ships are getting information. There's Lacon ships, some Asp Explorers there, all crates, an Anaconda, all looking good. All looking good. Another Anaconda there with its undercarriage down. Some more ships coming in, which is awesome. Very nice too. All sitting in front of this amazing lighthouse of a thing. Yeah, so again, use the system clock because the stream is obviously a few seconds behind. I've just gone through a ship. There we go. So there we go. Look, all the ships in front of the star there. Another one arriving. Awesome. Right, destination. That is another thing. Very good, Kelvinator. I'm glad you're on the stream because otherwise I'd get these stuff all wrong. Now we need to get a destination, and judging by that, I think it's going to be quite cool if we can fly kind of towards. Looking at that, the Barnard's Loop there is just right behind the Nova, the Pulsar, isn't it? So if I can find a star that's in that direction, we can jump directly into hyperspace through the Pulsar, which will look quite good. Let's see if I can find one. So keep doing the wing roulette to get us in there. So right, where is the? There, it's over there. So I want a star, kind of over here. If there is one, there isn't one, is there? Typical. There's one there, but it may be. Why do they disappear as you get kind of close? That's annoying. Oh, there's one sort of there. What does that look like? Oh, that's straight down. That's no good. I want one sort of here. Why isn't there a star there? And there's nothing out here at all. So it seems that may be too much for some people to jump. That's 40 light years away. That's not going to work. There's nothing actually closer, which is annoying. And there's no star in the direction that I want to go, which is frustrating. How do I roll this round? Oh, that way. There we go. So there's I actually want to go in that direction over there. There's Barnard's Loop over there. So if I kind of roll this way, but there's no stars. There's nothing here. It seems to be there's a dense bunch of stars near the actual pulsar, but nothing in the direction that we want to go. Nothing close enough for everybody to be able to jump. So we're going to have to choose something else, which is a bit of a shame. There's one there. Let's see what that one looks like. That's nice and close. So, but it's not going to be the direction we want to jump, I don't think. No, it's a bit of a shame. Well, we're going to have to go off at a slight angle. That's the best we can do. So there we go. There's the destination target. Is Crab. I'll check my map filters. Okay. Sorry, I'm just not catching up with the chat. I don't think I've got any filters on. Or maybe I do. Maybe that's why I can't see something. Have I got some filters on? That's starports. None. Don't think I've got any filter. Oh, hang on a minute. What's that? So that's no. See, that's too far away. I don't think I've got any filters on. There just aren't any stars immediately in that direction. There's nothing there, which is annoying. So we'll jump to there. There we go. That's 6 point. There we are. So we're going to go for. I'm going to type it in the chat. Crab sector KC-V C2-5. Okay. Oh, I put an underscore, but you know what I mean. KC-V. That's where we're going to jump to. And that will give us the. Well, it'll kind of give us the neutron star on the side. I can see it out of my side window if I roll my ship round. That will still look quite cool. Okay, so orientate yourself for that, and then we will watch the fleet carrier go, which is where there. Where's the fleet carrier go? I was pointing at it. There it is. Okay, so sorry about the weird angles here. So there's the fleet carrier. Right, so Storm Raider now need a wing invite. Okay, so okay, let me do that for you. Who else needs one, by the way? So we have these are all local folks. So Storm Raider, there you go. Invite to wing. I'm going to go through. Oh, you're already in a wing apparently. Commander Robotronic, I'll invite you. And Kyler Jidrick, which seems to have crashed my user interface. I've just tried Robotronic actually, so let's see if I can try that again. Right, Robotronic is there. Okay, you're in my wing. Okay, so good luck with that. Right, so so that's where we're hyperspacing to. The fleet carrier is due to jump out for 10 o'clock. Okay, so we will watch that go first because that's always fun to see. So if everyone else can orientate themselves towards the star that I'm pointing at, we will orientate ourselves to watch the fleet carrier go. Let me just see which way round it is. Where is the fleet carrier? It's kind of at a funny angle to the rest of us, because there is no up and down in space. Okay, but there's obviously a right way up and a wrong way up. But there is the fleet. The fleet is building. Okay, which is excellent. So there's a few other ships about as well. So there's the fleet carrier, which we'll watch go in a moment, and see how that looks. See how that looks. It's always nice to watch the fleet carrier go. But it's a nice collection of ships building, which is very cool. So so how are we doing? So we've got about 10 minutes, okay, before the before that arrives. So I've got a notification there. There we are, 10 minutes, okay, literally. So let's keep let's keep adding people in, see how many people we can get into here. Commander Aderon, I will invite you in. And Robotronics, you're here now, that's good. Oops, I've gone past all the Ice Storm Raider. I think we have you in the instance. He's in, okay, good. Commander Suits, try that. There's people on my list like 1,000 light years away, which is quite cool. Kyla Jedrick, did you get into the invite as well? Let's see how we go. Okay, that one's already in a wing. Okay, Suits is here, excellent. I think we're getting there. So there's a good number of ships on the map, which is great. So thanks for the invite, says Roger Wilco. That's all right. Absolutely my pleasure. So there we go. So let's just have a look around. So there's the Pulsar here in the midst of the Crab Nebula. The ships are all organising themselves, which is excellent to see. So I'm just going to rotate round to the front of my ship. Let's look back at the fleet. There's my ship. I can switch my lights on and off. Yay, look at that. That just makes me laugh. There we go. Now FDev is cursing us. Now there's a crate there who's definitely out of formation, pointing completely the wrong way. Who's that? So there's a nice selection of ships all ready to go, so that's awesome. Somebody's hitting their honk, which is what you have to do, which is that strange echoing sound that we're getting. Does look very good. Now FDev is probably cursing us yet. There's the fleet carrier waiting to go up there. So which will look, I think will look, hopefully will look quite cool actually. When there we go, we can actually see ourselves silhouetted in the light beam of the neutron star. That's quite a cool effect. I like that. Let's tilt that over so you guys can see it on the stream. There we go. That we're silhouetted against the beam, the searchlight beam of the pulsar, which is quite cool. So right, that's good. Okay, so we'll just keep assembling people for the jump, and then we'll begin to rock on. Once the fleet carrier is off, then we'll move into the music period. We'll watch the fleet carrier go, and then we do our hyperspace jump to the music, as we always do, which is good. So you can hear the grumble on the FDev servers. Thank you for the follow, Cohenmeister. Appreciate that. That's always good. And Walt71FR. That's really good as well. Thank you very much. Always nice to see new followers. So yeah, so my streams are, Elite Dangerous is on Thursdays. Mondays I have a general sort of just chatting stream about sci-fi topics, which is usually quite fun. And on Saturdays I do a retro stream. So I'm currently playing this is the fourth game in the Elite franchise, Elite Dangerous. I'm currently playing the second game, Elite Frontier Elite 2, which is set 1,000 years before Elite Dangerous. Sorry, no, 100 years before Elite Dangerous. What am I talking about? 100 years before Elite Dangerous. And obviously it's a completely different game, but it's quite good fun to go back and visit the past. So we do a retro stream on Saturdays, which you're all obviously very welcome to join us on. So there we go. Silhouetted against the gamma and X-ray beams bathing the ships in ionising radiation. So yes, there's nothing like a little bit of vacuum-soaked radiation-filled void to make you feel good on a Thursday evening, is there? No, we're definitely all being zapped, which is quite cool. The engine room wombles, I really enjoy being able to watch what's going on for a change. That's excellent. Look at the wombles. So we do have a fleet carrier that often follows us on this trip called the Wimbledon Common, which is a very British thing. Drew, if I get a carrier, what will you name it? That's a very good question. I don't know. I'll have to give that a bit of thought. Shuggy Boy is here. Hey, good to see you, Shuggy Boy. Commander Wager, how's things? So we are just prepping for our first ever hyperspace jump from a neutron star. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how this one works. That's going to be fun. So and I've got some music lined up. Oop, don't do that. The mouse is still enabled. That allows me to pan around, actually. That's quite useful, isn't it? So there's loads of ships here now. We're going to have an excellent jump this evening. It's just a shame there isn't a star in the direction of... I suppose we could fly around a bit, but that would probably be putting the instance on a lot of strain. 5 minutes now for the 5 minutes now for the carrier jump, so that would be good to see. Children take up valuable cargo space. Very good point. They do, actually. You're quite right. Lots and lots of content. So you do tend to see quite a lot of the same ships out in deep space because they're just better for flying around in deep space. So anacondas obviously have a massive jump range. So do the crates. So do the asps. There's a few other ships out here though. I spotted. I think it was either a dolphin or a beluga. I'm not sure which one it was. So 5 minutes. Now the MIDI. Okay, now I need to talk about the MIDI. Well, I'll let the fleet carrier jump, and then we'll get to the MIDI because there's something I need to do first. All right. So you have to bear with me. Yes, actually, that's a really good idea, Cedar. Something to honour Robert Holdstock. Yes, that would be really good. For those of you who don't know, actually, it was the anniversary of Robert Holdstock's death. He sadly passed away, and if you don't know who Robert Holdstock is, he's the guy who wrote the novella that came with the original Elite game back in 1984. So he's the father, if you like, of all Elite Dangerous lore. He's the guy who invented the Dark Wheel. He's the guy who invented Raxler. And so most of the lore, huge parts of the lore of Elite Dangerous can stem back to the creative genius of one Robert Holdstock. Now he passed away very sadly back in 2009 from a complication after he contracted the E. coli virus. So very, very sad. He went long before his time. He was only 61. That was a real shame. But yes. So Robert Holdstock would be something devoted to him would be a suitable name for a fleet carrier that I was flying, I think. But I've got a long way to go for the fleet carrier. I've only got about 250 million credits to my name after like 6 years. So so there we go. Oh, and there's a Type 9. Yes, I did see a Type 9. It was the one, the big chunky ship at the top there. So yes. So well done for bringing some of these less traditional ships out this far. It's really, really good. But yes, rest in peace, Mr. Holdstock. So Seven Veils 2 is another good name. Yep, I like that. But it's nice to come up with original stuff as well. So yeah, something like Robert Holdstock would be good. My current ship, you may have noticed, is called the Carl Sagan. Obviously named after Carl Sagan, who he also died in the 90s, and he wasn't very old either. Some really great people have been taken from us far too young, which is very sad. Carl Sagan obviously did the Cosmos TV program, probably one of the most famous astronomy shows that's ever been on the television, I think. Was probably the most known astronomer in the world, I would say. Household name in many, many different countries. The Methego, now that's a great name, Rowan, yes. So Methego Woods is Robert Holdstock, probably his best work, actually, critically and by his own admission. So Methego would be an excellent name for that. Right, we are due imminently the departure of the fleet carrier, so I'm just going to roll the screen around so we can see that go, and then we need to depart. So this, I'm hoping, will look quite impressive when it does actually jump. So let's see it go. So Carl Sagan, great popularizer of astronomy. I was lucky enough to see him once at a lecture when I was 7. It was a long time ago, but he's one of those meet your hero types where I actually did meet my hero, and he was awesome. Right, the jump time I'll confirm our jump time in a moment, Anna Claire, once I get some other bits and pieces organised. So bear with me. Yeah, too many great people gone too soon. Stay safe and don't leave the house ever again. I don't think I'm quite in the same league as these people, but I intend to stay around as long as I possibly can. So don't worry about that. I eat well, I eat healthily, and I get a little bit of exercise. I try and keep my weight under control. For 50 years old, I'm doing all right. So I'm in no No obvious danger. Right, here we go. Here goes the fleet carrier. And it's flickering in a lovely weird blueness. It makes that strange sound. There it goes. Salty Singularity says, "Hello, you amazing commander." Thank you very much. There goes the fleet carrier in a weird blue. It's much better when it jumps in a very, very bright blue light. You get this lovely glow. So there goes the fleet carrier. So thank you very much to Storm's Nest for hosting us this evening as a fleet carrier. It's lovely to see the Storm's Nest jump out. So safe travels. Oh, that's weird. What happened there? The whole colour of the universe changed. What was that caused by? I think the Storm's Nest took the colour red with it, which is very strange. I don't know what happened there. That's a bit weird, isn't it? There we go. Right. Okay. So we are now going to get ourselves organised as a moving fleet. Okay. So head towards the hyperspace jump point at 100 meters per second. That's the speed rule. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to gently accelerate away. 100 meters per second is what you're aiming for, so that we can get, look at, 101. Oh, can I back it off slightly? No, 99 on that. Well, about 100 meters per second. Okay, so let me get the nebula in the background. You guys should be able to form up on my wing. Look at that. We're going to be cruising to that. Now, there we go. So, right, so jump time. It's now, actually I should, before we do this, the jump time is 22. We're going to jump at 22:10 game time. Okay, 22:10 game time. That's the jump. I'll put that in the chat. There we go. 22:10 game time for jump. Okay, so that tells us exactly when we're going to hyperspace. All right. Put no pips in engines. Oh, does it give me final control? Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, that will make me slow down. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah. Oh, you're a genius. There we go. You're a genius, Commander Sea Dweller. So there we are. Exactly 100 meters per second. Well done. See, I'm learning. See, I'm still learning stuff, which isn't really surprising, but there we go. Right, so at 22:10, well, before 22:10, you need to charge your hyperspace drive, but do not, I repeat, do not go to full throttle, okay? Because if you go to full throttle, your hyperspace jump will engage and you'll be off, okay? So charge your frameshift drive, but do not go to full throttle. Basically what you do is you have it charged, and on 22:10 you go to full throttle. Okay, so right, we're 22:04 at the moment, and off we go. So there's the fleet. There's the fleet. Please take this pic. So yes, for those of you who are there, so I'm going to, that looks amazing. Look how many ships are here tonight. That's really cool. Let's keep going back so we can get everybody in shot. There are a lot of ships here tonight. Looks really, really good. So that's good. So 22:04. Right. So I need to get the music prep. I need to go and do something else. Okay. Okay. I need to. The moment I come back on, you will rumble what the tune's going to be. So as you know, we always do something with a sort of epic. You know, I've had fun this week with choosing the piece of music. Okay, because it's a very cool piece of music, and it's quite good, but it's not really sci-fi. Okay, but it's a good epic piece of music. So anyway, give me a moment. Give me a moment, and I will be back. Okay, generally we'll be back. Now I haven't actually used my I'll be back button before, so this is a new one for me. I'm actually, and I can't switch the scroll. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, I see. It's not letting me release the mouse. Right, I'll be back. I'll be back. Hang on a minute. I literally will be right back. I'm going to be back. Right, I'm back. So you've probably guessed the tune for tonight by now, and if you haven't, you'll figure it out. Okay. Oops, what did I do there? Oh, and now I've speeded up. What's going on? Right, let me get myself organised. Right, 100 meters per second. External view. Let's get this right. Okay, so how are we doing? We're there. We're getting there. It must be the worst pirate I've ever seen. Right, are you ready? Okay, because we're running out of time. So, oh, this is annoying. I can't get the mouse out of focus without doing that. Bloody Windows. So we need to be. I thought. Hang on a minute. It's the Crab Nebula. What does that remind me of? I was just thinking. So we are. Leverage, says you. I feel the change of the wind, says I. It is time, my friends, for the pirates of the Crab Nebula. Here we go. So charge up your drives, but do not go to full throttle, okay? The pirates of the Pulsar. Your home. This is probably the worst hyperspace jump you've ever seen. But you have seen it. You have to be on the Astro Tour for the Astro Tour code to apply, and you are. Here we go. We're counting down. 2010, go to full throttle. Should be moments now. Here we go. Yay! There we go. A mass hyperspace jump. Yo ho, me hearties. As we leave the Crab Nebula behind. Awesome stuff. There goes one last ship. Mine's still left, so I'm going to do the jump as well because there we go. That's what we do. So I hope you enjoyed that. I love these hyperspace jumps. I think they're so cool. And there we are with a background of a pulsar as well. We're getting good. We're getting good at this. Yes. So yes, apologies for the dodgy hat and the dodgy accent. But hey, it's fun. Right? I'd love to be a pirate. Well, I'd love to be a romantic 17th century fictional pirate, actually. I think that's what I mean. But there we go. So fantastic. Right, my friends. So thank you very much for that awesome mass coordinated hyperspace jump. Amazing work as ever. So that was very, very cool. And hope you enjoyed that rendition of Pirates of the Crab Nebula. Pirates of the Pulsar, maybe. That was quite good. So next week, now we have a bit of travelling to do. Now the distances between these astronomical objects are getting bigger. I need you to get to the Dumbbell Nebula for next week's event. It is quite a haul. Okay, you're going to have to go back past the bubble and out to the Dumbbell Nebula. So it's a fair way. Okay, it's not as far from the core worlds as we currently are, as you can see, but that's where we need to head to. Okay, so the Dumbbell Nebula is your destination for next week, by hook or by crook, my friends. Okay, that's where you need to be. So the Of Course I Still Love You is departing for the bubble in 18 minutes, so I'm actually going to go there and get back to the bubble and see if I can hand in some of this explosion data. That would be awesome. The rest of you, Dumbbell Nebula is where we will be next week, so please get there. I'm going to soon take off this ridiculous hat. Again, if you want to join me on Saturday for the retro stream at 1 PM on Saturday, it would be really, really good. Look forward to seeing you there. Otherwise, Dumbbell Nebula for next Thursday, or you can join on my Monday stream where we just talk, chat about sci-fi stuff and generally mess about as well. Nothing's taken too seriously. But otherwise, we will see you there. So yo-ho, me hearties, be good. Have a great weekend ahead. Get through Friday. Look after yourselves, and be good. I'm glad you've enjoyed this evening. It's been great fun. Thank you very much indeed for joining me on the stream. Lovely to see so many new folks as well. Always welcome. So hope you've had a good time. And right on, Commanders and 07. I will see you soon. Be good and shiver me timbers, etc. Take care, my friends. Be good, and I'll see you soon.